Today, I'm going to show you how I built 3 new LEGO Star Wars Smoke in 3 days. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I have 3 Star Wars unrelated characters. I have Ahsoka Tano, I have a custom version of Kazuda Xiono, and I have Yoda. So the first build I'm going to do is a bigger scale Ahsoka. This is not the first time I do that. If you remember, some time ago I built a sort of chibi scale version of Ahsoka. But this time I want to do something a little bit similar maybe to my Mulan build from some time ago. So for the face, that where everything started, I want to use this sort of cut slopes. So this is going to just slide in the sort of big airpiece I created. You can see here that I had to compromise a little bit on the parts because in these shades of blue, I don't have much parts. Over here, I have a little gap. But anyway, this was a quick build, so let's see what I can get done. This was my first day of building. Actually, this came together more or less in one afternoon, just a few hours, maybe 3 hours or so. I connected this upside down. You can see here, for example, I have a 1x1 plate. If it was a rounder one, it would be much nicer, but this is what I have in my parts inventory. For the body, probably too skinny. I would have loved to have something a little bit bigger, a little bit taller, but this is what I have, a bit short on this black part. You can see I have studs coming off on every direction. For the arms, they are coming out on the side, with studs coming on the front, and studs coming at the back. For the skirt piece, this is the only part I have. Ideally, I wanted something a little bit longer and maybe with different shapes, but this is what I have, so this is the only point of connection that I have at the front of the character over here. So then we can put all the body connected back to the head, and we can slide this in a little bit. Now, I think it's pretty okay, but what I wanted actually was more a fighting pose like I did previously. But all my lightsabers are tied into the display of my Batman Begins Batcave. So I decided to give a very simple pose and build a stand for the War Between Worlds. So what I did is a very simple and straightforward black base, and then I use all the darker tiles, transclear parts that I have, all these little both parts underneath to find a little bit more sturdy connection, and put this on the base. I stagger it a little bit so that it's not too square and looks a little bit better. I don't have anything in this color with studs, so I cannot connect actually Ahsoka to the studs. I just have to balance it over there, and now it's just a matter to take a nice photo and a little bit of editing. So I built this for the Imperial March, a Star Wars contest over on Brick Nerd. This was for the character category. Anyway, that's a difficult category where I don't think I have much chance to do well in the contest, but I'm pretty happy with my first quick build. Then the second category I want to participate is the vehicle category, spaceship category. So here I have a custom version of Kazuda Xiono from Star Wars Resistance. So he has a green jacket like in the TV show. This is another helmet from Star Wars. It kind of works. So what I want to build is the Firewall. This is sort of very fast racer, the race around the Colossus. You can see that I have studs a little bit in every direction. A little bit of griblings over here and on top. I didn't do the other side because it's not going to be seen in the picture. At the bottom, I have a very weird connection over here because I didn't connect the two parts well. So this again is a learning process for me because usually I don't build a spaceship. I should do first a strong and solid core and then build all around it. While I started to build from the front, so this is the little structure that I have. I have an axle coming through. This is a part that I wanted to use from a sort of Lego City submarine. And then here I have a little bit of a square structure with a Technic pin. Then it's going to connect here at the front. So basically to start this, I started from this part and build the way back. That means that every part is kind of breakdown and makes it for a build that is not so solid. Even though with these little parts that I put here, now I can pick it up a little bit safer. Now, because of the sand green and the yellow color scheme, I'm a little bit limited on path. So for example, you can see these slopes shouldn't be slopes in going in this direction. Maybe this one yes, but this one not. But that's what I have in my collection. Same goes for this big long yellow one that is an inverted one. So I had to get the studs going down here so that I can connect these and create a little bit of an interesting shape here at the front. Now here for the cockpit, I have this other little structure over here. It's going to slide it in, connect like so, and then I can put my custom character slide it through with the legs underneath there, get this down, and cover everything up. So now this kind of works. This ship is kind of swooshable. I cannot push things too hard maybe, but still is okay. This one is not very solid, they move a bit. And also bad decision, design decision here. I'm using ball joints for this because I wanted to have the right angle. I probably should have used two of these so that at least it doesn't move everywhere. But again, this is not for playability. This is not even for display. It's just to take a picture and submit to the contest. Here I also managed to give a little bit of an angle to this one. Now I need to find a way to display. I cannot just take a photograph of this like this. It doesn't look very nice. And that was tricky. Actually, the base was simple. So I'm a bit short of all these tiles, but I put together all the one that I have. So in this case, I decided to go for an irregular shape. It's a little bit more interesting. I'm gonna put the ship diagonal so that it makes it look like it's kind of touching the water and splashing a little bit at the back. There's some reference picture online that I found. And I put this one tile higher than the base. I think it makes it a little bit more interesting instead of level it out. What I did is have this little structure that is not solid at all, but it works if nobody push it. So this is gonna connect over there. I'm gonna connect there to the studs, and then I can just have a slight little connection over here. I'm gonna push it a little bit. Let's see if I can do without any damage here on the build. So this one kind of works, even though you can see is a little bit forward heavy. But again, I'm not gonna keep this on display. Nobody's gonna play with this. I'm just gonna take some nice picture and submit to the contest. And at the end, I'm kind of happy with the result. And it was a very good learning process. So if I am to build another spaceship or something of this sort in the future, I definitely can do a better job than what I did here, especially if I use a color scheme where I have more parts available. Anyway, now for the best build of the set. Anyway, for this one, I kind of cheated a little bit because I built it over 2 days, but actually the time frame is still below 24 hours. I kind of built it in two afternoons, let's say. And this one actually was very fast to put together. This just take a few minutes. Now, the next one, here we have Yoda. But the third category of the contest is the most fun one, which is Rebuild the Galaxy. So what I decided to build is, I decided to use a Darth Yoda. So I make Yoda a baddie. So here I use the Darth Vader body, red lightsaber, short legs, and here we have the Darth Yoda. And I decided to bring into the picture also Grogu. So my idea is, what if I recreate a version of the I am your father scene with Yoda and Grogu? Now, this is a pretty fun concept. I make a small base following the design of the Lego set diorama. Here I added a little Darth Vader mask printed part to kind of tie the thing together, and I'm gonna build a Dagobah swarm. Here I have a brick build base with sand green and olive green and a few points of connection, and this is just gonna slide in like so. This is not the first one Dagobah scene that I did. I did a sort of medieval version for a contest some time ago. I will link the video down below if you want to check it out. And of course, the official Lego set, there is one beautiful diorama with the Dagobah Jedi training scene. Now, over on the side here, I have this little build. Here I wanted to add a little bit of terrain on the side, a little frog, because I know that Grogu likes the frog. And here in the background, I'm using some of these parts to create a little bit of kind of mangrove kind of scene. This is gonna slide a little bit to the side. So that's a little bit of detail at the back. Then over here, I have one of those little huts, like in the Lego set, in the official set. We cannot see much inside. I have only the lights coming from here. I have a little fire over there with some nice branches over there, and a kind of balcony on top. So this balcony piece over here is where I want to put Yoda looking at Grogu. But I need to create a branch that come off this side and go up so that I can have Grogu hanging in there. Now, hopefully I can do this without damaging the tree. This is the branch that I come with this curved angle, and it's gonna connect inside there with this axle piece. Maybe I should remove this all the way so I can see where I'm going. I have a Technic brick over there inside. This is gonna slide in and I can connect it back. Now we can turn this around a little bit so we can go and see what kind of connections I did here. So I'm using this kind of raw pieces, this flexible part, to have a little bit of details. This one should probably go underneath and then go around the branch and connect back on the top like so. Let's find the right angle. See if I can push it a little bit. Push it in. Everything should be good now. There we go. So actually, when I took the picture of this, I also added this little part at the back. I don't need to put it now because there's a little bit of gap there. So once I put this at the back, then it looked like the branch is more completed. Actually, there is a little bit of gap there that I should have covered a little bit better. Over on this side, I have another tree. Same style, even though probably this tree is a little bit less organic, maybe a little bit too square, it's cut a little bit straight over here. Maybe I should have created something a little bit more organic there, like I did over here. Now, I'm just gonna add another here kind of connecting piece, just laying there. I can put Yoda here in the center, looking over to the branch where I'm gonna put Grogu. So potentially I could have connected to this stud over there, but if I balance it correctly with the ears, I can make it look like he's actually hanging from that piece of flex tube over there. So now we have Yoda looking at Grogu and telling him, I'm your father. But to complete very well the scene, you can see there is a gap over there. It's because I wanted to add a little bit of color, so I create a very small version of the crib of Grogu that I can just put in there. I can put it straight, like this is gonna cover the gap pretty well. I actually like a little bit better if I tilt it on the side, even though a little bit of gap can be seen, but I think like this looks a little bit better. Anyway, this is what I did. I hope you like it. So we have the Fireball from Star Wars Resistance. We have the Ahsoka and the I Am Your Father scene. Again, a little bit cheating over here. The build took less than 24 hours, but it was over a couple of days. Let's say 2 full afternoons. So probably, I guess, below 12 hours for sure. It's still a small build. The base was coming together pretty fast, and this side. The trees and the connection on top, those took a little bit more just to make it look a little bit more organic. But anyway, pretty fast build. Let me know what you think about this build down below. Check out the Imperial March contest. I think there is time until the end of the month if you want to submit something. Let me know which one is your favorite, and you can go check out here on screen. You can see one of my latest Star Wars mock. You can go and check it out. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you the next time. Ciao, ciao.